Okay, has landed.
Hi, I'm editing, and like the true SSDP alumni that I am, I'd like to say LMP, Layla, does not endorse nor condemn the use of substances or psychedelic drugs.
Hey, did you breathe out today? There's a song that actually goes like that. It's by WASTEWOMXN called WASTEWOMAN, and I think one of those letters is an X. But yeah, it's like, hey, did you breathe out today? Did you set out some time to play? I feel like as humans, we're always like on the rat race and we don't set aside time to play. I'm gonna take them off. I feel like oftentimes we don't keep our inquisitive childlike wonder alive, right? So this is me keeping my inquisitive childlike wonder alive. This is playing. It's like, oh, let me play dress up. Let me put a light up scrunchie. Let me slap on some glitter on my face that you probably can't tell. Let me put some lip on, you know, it's like, oh, fun, you know, like dress up. Work hard, play hard. You've heard of that, right? I guess I mentioned the inquisitive childlike wonder because I got to play or join karaoke today, and I chose the song Dead Souls by Joy Division, but I realized I should have just chosen Transmission instead because it's more like performative. Has anybody seen that BBC Live recording of them playing that song live? And it's like Ian Curtis like singing it and like, I don't know. But yeah, so Dead Souls has like a super long intro and like I only got to sing like a few lyrics and it was like the same. They keep calling me. Keep on calling me. But it was fun. So friendly reminder to just set out some time aside in your day to play. Whatever that looks like for you. Which kind of brings me to what I kind of wanted to use this video for. I will be volunteering with Zendo Project.
Hello. This is Layla from the future that is back from Burning Man because the video you are watching is Layla before going to Burning Man. So I wanted to take this opportunity to let you guys know that there is a collective out there in Mexico called Nido, and it's similar. I'm not going to say it's exactly like Zendo Project because it's not. It's its own thing. Nido. I met Mario Oneiros at Burning Man, and I saw his shirt and it said Nido, and I'm like, oh, what's your shirt? And he was like, oh, blah, 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 and I read it, and I'm like, oh, really? That's cool. Do you ever need volunteers? He's like, well, let me know if you're ever in Ciudad Mexico. So I just wanted to let everybody know that Nido, and I wrote a little note just so I don't mess up what Nido is. I'm going to translate. Nido is a collective that provides help and accompanies people having difficult experiences due to the consumption of psychedelics at festivals. So that's pretty cool because before it's like, oh, Zendo was, and Dance Safe, they're like similar organizations. Ahora saben de Nido. Si están en la Ciudad de Mexico, if you're ever in Ciudad Mexico, and I don't know how to say Ciudad Mexico in English. Do you have to say it in English? Just the city of Mexico? It sounds weird to me. If you're ever there, catch their events or know about them, look them up. Give them a like on their Facebook. Okay, back to the video. I've talked way too fucking much. I'm like in the process of editing 4 videos. I'm behind. I also don't have a cell phone right now. You don't need to know that. That's like not the next video and not the next video, but the next video.
It's so important. I remember when I was still living in El Paso, Texas, when I was a teenager, going out a lot, you know, I mean, being like, just exercising my cognitive liberty and exploring my consciousness and just healing unseen wounds on the dance floor, you know? Man, it was such a... I really do not want to glamorize or glorify taking any substances, but I'm just sharing my experience, you know? It was such a wonderful communion with the music I was into at that age. I'm still into that music. I can't explain it, like... It was just awesome. Like, I love dance and movement. It has always been a part of my life, and it was just like such a wonderful experience, you know. But a lot of you out there is like, well, of course you were on drugs. Yeah, but I can't explain it. Like, I know from an outsider perspective, it seems like, oh my God, bad kids, what are you doing? Where are your parents? Actually, I have fucking amazing parents, and they did their absolute fucking best and are still doing that to this day. I was just a rebellious child who wanted to do whatever the hell I wanted, My parents told me no multiple times, and I rebelled. I said why, and then, you know, and I snuck out. Geez. From an outsider perspective, it may seem like we were up to some bad shit or up to no good, and okay, maybe, yes. But from a different perspective, because I lived it, I wasn't doing anything awful. I wasn't. Okay, I was staying past curfew. Okay, I was underage drinking. Okay, I was doing ecstasy. Okay, I was sneaking out. All of that shit is bad, but what I'm saying is, like, I lived it, and I don't know how to say it. Yes, a lot of things could have gone wrong. Like, I know a lot of horror stories have come up about Warped Tour, and I always wanted to go to Warped Tour, but my dad never let me go. Now in hindsight though, I feel like he protected me by not letting me go, because a lot of the girls that went to were very, very young, and they got groomed and taken advantage of. So thank you, Dad, for saying no, and like for me not rebelling that one time, you know, I guess because it was like such a mission to get there. It was not that far, it was in Las Cruces, but we're teenagers and we're trying, you know, to go to this event. I remember my dad was like, I'll let you go when you're, I asked when I was 16, and he's like, I'll let you go when you're 17, and 17, I was 17 rolled around, and I'm like, oh, you said last year that I could go this year, and he's like, no. Anyway, people who choose to experiment with drugs are often stigmatized, and I understand that more now because I'm working in recovery. And up until this point, I have been an advocate for psychedelic science, psychedelic assisted psychotherapy. It's the whole reason I moved to the Bay Area, so I can be a psychedelic therapist. Now I'm wondering, how am I going to merge these two worlds? How am I going to merge these amazing tools that are catalysts for growth and this world where there's a disease called addiction, and it's very fucking real, and when something works for someone, it might not work for the other person, or just because they have an addictive personality, it's like,
you can't get addicted to mushrooms, man. LSD's not addictive, man. It stops working after you.
That's true and all, but everything has potential for abuse. Everything. Painkillers, working out too much, you could like abuse the gym, like... Anyways, Zendo Project is amazing, and I truly, truly support that. I can definitely think back to times when I was a teenager and can see where having that space where it's open to people to show up and say, hey, I'm having a difficult experience, I'm on drugs, help me. And for them not to get arrested, for them not to, you know, get sedated and put into the psych ward. No, what would be amazing is, for those of you who are not familiar, there is something called the 9/20 Coalition. September 20th is a global holiday for magic mushrooms. It was born in 2015 out of the idea that there was no days to commemorate magic mushrooms. We have 420, which is cannabis, and there's 419, Bicycle Day, which commemorates, I freaking love this story. So, okay, it doesn't really take that long to say it, so I'm just gonna share it real quick. Bicycle Day celebrates the discovery of LSD. Yes, and this is basically the rundown. 1938, we have a Swiss chemist named Albert Hofmann, and he is making a concoction of chemicals. Legend has it that he's trying to synthesize a chemical that will act as a circulatory stimulant on the body, okay? And 1938, he's working in a lab and he labels this one specific chemical LSD-25. Why 25? Because it was the 25th in a series of chemicals that he was creating. So he shelves this, he puts it in his shelf, 1938, okay? 5 years later, it is 1943, April 16th. Albert Hofmann gets an inkling to revisit LSD-25. This is before we even knew what LSD-25 was. So he follows this instinct, this burst of intuition, and he starts working with it, and he accidentally absorbs some through his fingertips. He starts feeling a little funny. He goes home. 3 days later, and there's like the biblical reference, like, and on the third day, 3 days later, April 19th, 1943, Albert Hofmann intentionally doses himself with what he thought he had initially absorbed through his fingertips. He ended up taking way more than that. So, bicycle day, why? Because he then decided to ride his bicycle home or back home somewhere safe with the assistance of his assistant, Susie Ramstein. So there they are, like riding on the bike, and Albert Hofmann is like, you know. I'm gonna link a link here to the 920 Coalition's post on Bicycle Day, and it has artwork by this amazing person that I met. His name is Neil, and it'll all be in that Instagram post.
Hi, I'm editing, so I left out a super important part about Bicycle Day. It was coined by Thomas B. Roberts in 1985? Yes, 1980s, Thomas B. Roberts. And at the Oakland 2017 Psychedelic Science Conference, he had a talk with James Fadiman, and James Fadiman had like this line of people that wanted to talk to him, and so did Thomas B. Roberts, but like I was there. And anyways, he signed my book, and I was just like, thank you, blah, 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 you know, like, thank you for like your work. And I told him about 920 and like how and why 920 was born. And he was like, well, yeah, that's why we did Bicycle Day, because similarly, like 920, there was nothing for Bicycle Day either in the 80s. So they created it to commemorate LSD. And then in 2015, kind of the same thing, Nick was thinking with his family member and friend, and they conceptualized 920. So
yeah, Bicycle Day. So there was 420 and Bicycle Day for the psychedelic community. And the founder of 920 Coalition was having a conversation in his living room with, I think it was a family member and a friend. And they were saying how there's no day for magic mushrooms. And they're like, oh, well, you know, they're playing around. Anyways, so they landed on 920. Why 920? Because it alludes to cannabis's 420. It is also around mushroom picking season, and it is around the fall equinox. For all those reasons, 920. So we have 920 for magic mushrooms. We have Bicycle Day, which is 419 for LSD. We have 420, which is for cannabis. And there's 220, which is Thank You Plant Medicine Day, if I am not mistaken. So it's amazing what can get the ball rolling. 2016... Okay, I joined in 2015, right? Because I was on SSDP, Students for Sensible Drug Policy, and I was trying to find out ways to volunteer and become more involved with them. This was in 2014. And then I see a post on their website, and it's like, call for 920 volunteers. And I emailed them like with a super inspired email, you know, like, like words and like enthusiasm and passion. And they're like, you're exactly the type of person we're looking for. Like, they were building the team back then. And the only people that I had communications with was Nick and Jose. Jose was also this amazing 920 member. And then life happens to all of us. So the founder that conceptualized this idea with his family member and the friend in his living room, I think their lives picked up. You know, I think like life happens, you know, you get married, you have kids, you start a master's program, you start coaching baseball. Life happens, and it just got a little bit hectic, and they were able to prioritize and kind of gift over 920 so they can keep the ball rolling. And so 2015 I joined. 2016 I was like the outreach coordinator. I don't know what the hell I was. My point is, 2016, life happens to all of us, right? They were like, hey, I can't really dedicate as much time as I want to this project, like here, you know? And there's this, it reminds me, because I just don't want to sound a certain way.
You see, only one who wanted to find the stone, find it, but not use it, would be able to get it. Otherwise, they just see themselves making gold or drinking elixir of life. Why does that explain why I feel 920 Coalition was gifted to me by the universe? Because the way I see it is this organization has such a grand potential for a lot. And I have visions, and so does my 920 collaborator, Katie, and we're going to do it. It'll take time, but we're going to do it. I can see someone, like a different kind of person, would see the opportunity to lead 920 Coalition as like a self-serving type of thing, which I don't want to do. Like 920 Coalition is for the mushrooms. We are doing God's work, like Oliver Merive used to say. We are doing the work for the mushrooms. The last thing I want is to like propel myself forward by putting my name plastered on everything 920 Coalition. Like, nah, man, like, I don't know if I'm even trying to, I don't think I'm articulating what I'm trying to say correctly here either, but I'm just trying, like the quote says, the only one who wanted to find the stone, find it, but not use it, will be able to get it. Otherwise, they just see themselves making gold or drinking the elixir of life. So 920 Coalition, I found it, and I am not trying to use it for personal gain. And that's what I see the relation with the quote. Only one who wanted to find the stone, find it, but not use it, would be able to get it. So me, with the 920 Coalition, God was like, you know what? Layla is not going to use the 920 Coalition as like a self-serving thing. Why don't we give it to her, see what happens, And I'm saying God and the universe, but it was really like, the people who were involved prior in its founding year. When I started, like, I was part of the founding year anyways. It doesn't matter. I'm just grateful, and I relate to that quote.
So I didn't ask for this, right? But I just recognized the amazing potential with this idea that was passed on to me, And actually, the one that's been carrying this shit right now is Katie. She's an amazing collaborator. She's still with me right now in 920 Coalition, and like I said, life happened for me too, because when 920 Coalition was kind of like, here, take over, I moved to the Bay Area to start my master's program. Like all these moving pieces, like I cut the umbilical cord and moved to the Bay Area from El Paso, Texas when I was like 22. So a lot of stuff happened, and trying to manage that organization and some stuff got done, but it was through the collaboration of organizations and individuals, and that's what 920 is. It's a collaboration of organizations and individuals that put together events on or around the dates of 920, advocating for mushrooms are medicine. However, it brings me back to that conversation, right? What about people in recovery? A lot of clients come in with alcoholism or meth use or something like that, but then in all of that is still psychedelics.
Psychedelics are the drug that causes the least harm.
Very true. Alcohol is actually the drug that causes the most harm. Look it up. Everything has potential for abuse though. People who have fried their brains, and I don't want to keep that narrative going, but it's just how do I tread more carefully? How do I walk this territory, being mindful and considerate of those of us with addiction? It has certainly made me kind of analyze my own relationship to cannabis. Fuck yeah, there's been addictive behaviors there. Of course. And there's way too much stuff to get into right now, but when I was trying to apply for jobs and get hired and stuff, I got clean, I got clarity, and I got months of sobriety, and it's been pretty good. But I'm not going to be able to deny my passions. So the way I see it is I have my tentacles in all these different areas, and I am the point in the center where they all intersect. I would love to bring together people from completely different worlds, seemingly so, and have conversations in this shared common ground territory that might not even be in their frame of mind or something. I don't know, I want to have difficult conversations. I want to have the conversations that nobody wants to have. So, click, put your seatbelts on because it's gonna be a bumpy ride. No, I was quoting Harry Potter there, Prisoner of Azkaban. It's not gonna be a bumpy ride. I'm not saying it's gonna be smooth sailing either, because you guys saw that first, or whoever saw the first video that I uploaded, like the out of focus. I don't know if this is a little bit better. I mean, I'm blinding myself with, like, you know, a mini flashlight and my phone flashlight. So
I am completely changing topics now. Thank you for bearing with me and tuning in.
I would love for 920 Coalition in the future to get to the point where we could be a 920 festival. Think Symbiosis. I don't want to say think Burning Man. It's my first time going over there, but definitely something like Symbiosis. I mean, I know that's like aiming big, but there's so much potential here. And having an organization like Zendo Project be available at, let's say, a 920 festival in the potential future is key. Having organizations like Dance Safe present is key. But that's it. I kind of just wanted to share the importance of the organization like Zendo Project. This is going to be my second or third time volunteering with them. Let's end with a reading from the Inquire Within Oracle, and I will eventually put everything in the description where you can find the decks, where you can find the scrunchie. 2 fell out already. I haven't even said like the little prayer like
Angels, spirit guides, please tell us about.
I didn't even do that, but 2 fell out, and I'm reading them. It says, I am connected to the earth, and I was going to say collective reading right now, but I just started reading the card instead. I am connected to the earth. And this one says, anything you want to find is out there somewhere. Oh, I am connected to earth, and everything you need to find is out there somewhere. I kind of want to pull like 2 or 3 more.
Collective reading, collective reading, collective reading. Okay, that was a word shuffle.
Let's see if any pop out. You already are. Aw, you already are. I wrote something that kind of relates to that. And you know what? I am moved to share it. I wrote this in February 26th of 2020, okay? And I said that TPC, the Transpersonal Psychology Counseling Program, has been sword-like for me, slicing right through structures of whom I thought I was, profoundly cut by daggers of awareness and realization, finding blades on long-lost anvils, wandering in my psyche. It has been my duty to pry double-edged swords loose, to work through evocative material and break free from those vicious cycles I found myself entrapped in. My need for healing was emphasized by my experience in the TPC program and mirrored physically on a personal level, triggering me towards deviation. Ripped to shreds by my superego, I decided to stop being hard on myself for not being where I should be because I am where I ought to be. This is the part that made me think of sharing this. And I said I gave myself the opportunity to undo the damage done, to prove my worthiness whilst feeling authentic to this path I've chosen, to prevent further loss and move towards completion by getting back on track. This was in 2020. I'm still there. My cohort graduated in 2019. It's not a race, you guys, you know, so, I mean, don't beat yourself up if you're not where you should be, or if you had this timeline but it didn't work out. We have a saying in Spanish. I'm Mexican, my first language is Spanish, and it says, uno pone pero Dios dispone. Like, you may have plans, but you never know what God has in store for us. So hug your mom, hug your dad, hug your friend, tell that person you love them because you don't know when anybody will die, or you know we're gonna die someday. Carpe diem. May we use the knowledge of someday we will die, to live life to the fullest, not to end on a grim note. But okay, another last card. It's all for a reason. Plant a seed and wait. Reflect, reflect, reflect. Thank you for your time, aliens, Balians, queens, kings, and all other royalty. I'll see you soon. Bye.
It has landed.
Blurring my mouth and getting the word out there, but yeah.